So what up, everyone? So, why do we have endless wars? Why do we have endless wars? One, you gotta know who we're warring against as a country, as the United States of America, the military-industrial complex. And by the way, if you support the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, you're supporting war pigs. Okay, George Bush, Barack Obama, war pigs. War pigs. Trump, the guy now, Biden, war pigs. So you are supporting the military-industrial complex by voting for any Democrat, any Republican. So just know that. So when people are fighting over the stupidities of, oh, Donald Trump tweeted this, Donald Trump tweeted that, he's such a mean guy, it shows your lack of depth. Because at the end of the day, all these people, Hillary Clinton, all of them, the Clintons, the Bushes, Obamas, Trump, they are supporting the endless wars. And where are the wars prominently located? The Middle East. Why is that? Because most of our politicians in America are sold out to Zionism. They're sold out to the modern day Israel. And I say modern day because today's Israel has no connection with the Bible, has no connection with the Israelites of the Old or the New Testament. And it's just like that song War Pigs by Black Sabbath, where not only the politicians are responsible for the endless wars in the Middle East, carpet bombing innocent women and children, primarily Arabic innocent women, children, and Palestinian, is because not only have the politicians sold you out and your children out for Zionism, for the modern day Rothschild Israel, but so have your pastors. The gutless pastors in America, pulpit preachers, what do they ingrain in your brain every Sunday? That in order to be blessed, in order for America to be blessed, we must bless Israel. And why do you think these pastors tell you predominantly, not always, to vote for Republicans? Because Republicans are front and center supporters of modern day Israel. And Christians, who still form a significant voting bloc, when they think of a president to vote for, the number one agenda for them, does he support the Jews? Does he support Israel? Yeah, they're not worried about America. They're not worried about the things going on here, the crime, drugs, homelessness, gang violence, the continuous pouring in of illegal immigration. They're not worried about that, but they're worried about who supports Israel. And by the way, the reason why any American should be against illegal immigration, just like any country should, that's why it's called illegal, right? There's legal immigration is okay, is because that is the plan of the Jews. The Jews' plan is, especially in the West, is to have continuous flow of illegal immigration into Western countries, because the whole plan right now via the United Nations is for the New World Order to be ran out of Jerusalem with a rebuilt temple, so it would be a house of prayer for all nations. And they know that it's easier to subjugate all nations when you flood Western Christian countries with illegal immigration to to erode the Christian values of that country with immigrants that come from, Islamic countries, Catholic countries, etc. Because I hate to tell you, but borders are biblical. Acts chapter 17, New Testament, Old Testament, borders are biblical. And God says that he's raised up kings and governments to establish law. And when you resist that law, as long as it doesn't conflict with the laws of God, you resist the ordinance of God. But these pastors are telling you to support Israel. So vote Republican, but even Democrats are big Zionists. And so now you have the Ukraine-Russian thing. And most Americans are cucking for Ukraine, yet why is that? Because you're being told to. Because the president of Ukraine, Zelensky, is a big Zionist. He's been seen at the Wailing Wall with the little yarmulke. Anytime you see a politician at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, no, they are Judaized. They are a Zionist. But it is the pastors, the war pig pastors, that are telling you must bless Israel. Therefore, you have to vote for a politician that supports Israel. But even the Democrats do. And what is this? These politicians, they fight Israel's wars. Your sons and daughters are going to war, not for America, but for Israel, for Zion, the fake Israel, what Jesus called the synagogue of Satan, Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. And we're not going to get this country back to where it needs to be until we reject the military-industrial complex. We stop voting for Republicans and Democrats. We get rid of this two-party system. And we have the day of the rope for these politicians. They have betrayed the country. The Pelosi's, the Trumps, the Obamas, the Clintons, the Bushes, the Bidens, the Kamala Harrises. See, there's a day of the rope awaiting these politicians. So these wars, why you had 9/11, if the cover story is true, is because you sent your sons and daughters to fight for another country called Israel, which really should be called Khazaria because they're not the real Israelites. And so it has spurned the hatred of the Islamic countries against America because we are supporting the great Satan, Israel. And so you have 9/11. Another excuse by the globalists like the Bushes, the Clintons, and the Obamas to make war with Islamic countries, Afghanistan, Iraq. We have no business being there because the original ideology of America, Christian America, is no foreign entanglements. We are not the policemen of the world. We are not to solve everybody's problems. We're not to be everybody's caretaker in the world. So I am a nationalist. 100%. It is not our responsibility to bring in everybody from the third world countries to take care of. We need to take care of our own people. You look at the streets of the urban areas, even where I live in the desert, and I just see nothing but homeless people, massive drug problem. And yet these politicians, the Gavin Newsoms of the world, want to make California a third world state by bringing everybody in because of this whole abortion thing. Come to California. We'll pay your way if you want to murder your child. Yeah, California's already a crap hole. Look at San Francisco. Look at LA, San Diego. Do you really want the whole country to look like California by voting a Gavin Newsom in? And by the way, I can't stand Republicans either. They're sellouts. But all these politicians, war pigs, like the song from Black Sabbath, and the pastors, because your churches are telling you got to support Israel, because Jesus one day, in their doctrine, Jesus one day is going to come back and establish 1,000-year reign of peace from earthly Jerusalem with the rebuilt temple, the Levitical priesthood, earthly throne of David, when the Bible doesn't even speak of that. The Bible refutes that in every which way but loose. Jesus is already on the throne of David in New Jerusalem. And he's not coming back to reign from earthly Jerusalem. That earthly Jerusalem is a bastard. It's a bastard. Paul even says it's a bastard. In Galatians 4, it says it's in bondage with her mother Hagar and the bastard child Ishmael. And all these pastors are denying the Davidic kingship of Jesus and telling you we got to support Israel to usher in a 1,000-year reign of peace. Well, that fits into the plans of the New World Order, the United Nations. They want 1,000 years of peace. The age of Aquarius, the 1,000 points of light of George Bush, the 1,000-year Reich of Adolf Hitler. In the 1,000-year reign, so that the Jews, the modern-day Jews who are really Edomites, so that they can subject the Goyim, the Gentiles, under their rule of authority. And they're having your sons and daughters fight their wars for them. I say let the Jews send their own sons and daughters to die in war. I'm not sending mine for their dirty wars. See, because if we stop supporting that country, they'll get eaten alive by the Islamic countries surrounding them. I say let it happen. It's not our job to fight other people's wars. But your pastors, the gutless pulpit pimps that continually prostitute themselves for money, telling you to tithe when that's from the old covenant for the Levites, not for modern day pastors. If you go to a church and they're telling you to support Israel, you are, to me, a traitor to Jesus Christ and a traitor to this country. And that's what a lot of people don't realize, that a lot of this stuff going on, you know, when I had to sit through, was it 4 years of Trump? Was he a president for 4 years of Trump? And all of the people whining and crying because he offended them because he would say something supposedly sexist or racist. You're not getting the big picture. You're stuck on stupid. That's being stuck on stupid. Go to the root. These guys are funding the military-industrial complex. These guys are supporting modern-day Israel, and they got you stuck on the Kardashians and eating chips and drinking beer and watching football. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with watching football. I watch it, believe me, but I'm not into it. I'm not obsessed with it. I'm not like, you know, that's breads and circuses, man. The Roman Empire, how it fell, is people got so consumed with bread and circuses. Gluttony, food, and sports and all that stuff. And these circus clowns called actors, court jesters, Hollywood, oh, this movie, that movie, these actors. Who gives a damn about the actors' lives, man? This country's going to crap because people want to support the court jesters of Hollywood. Little, you know, actors used to be looked at as the circus clowns of society, and in our society, we're idolize them. Court jesters, circus clowns, circus monkeys. Who cares about the Kardashians and this actor, that actor, Johnny Depp? Who cares? The things that matter are the things that are, what are we going to leave the future generations? And well, these pastors are telling you, oh, don't worry about it. We're going to have a rapture and get out of here. Fatalistic approach. And then they're telling you to support that godless nation in the Middle East. That one day your kids could be slaves to Jews. See, some of you are new to the channel. I'm not a politically correct guy at all. That political correctness is a disease. And I'm calling out the Jews because Jesus says, beware of the synagogue of Satan, Revelation 2:9 and 3:9. Those who say they're Judeans and are not, but are liars. He called them in John 8:44, children of the devil. Paul says they're contrary to all men. And that's still true today because they run Hollywood, which degenerate culture comes out of there. They run the hip-hop industry, and that's where you get the gangsta rap, which decimates communities. They run the Federal Reserve System, the banking system, a debt-based economy, which we were trillions of dollars surplus, about 13 million, I believe, when the Federal Reserve came into play in 1914. And now we're trillions of dollars in debt, but people are all too glad to have it. Why? Because capitalism and communism are two sides of the same Jewish shekel. They're Jewish. Communism is an attack of the poor on the rich, covetousness, greed. Capitalism is an attack of the rich on the poor. But it's through the Federal Reserve banking system, which is a Rothschild banking system. They are Jewish. They are Rothschild, Red Shield, the Star of David, the Red Shield, Rothschild. And now, I mean, World War II, who did we help? The communists. All your problems today stem from World War II because of who you helped. When I say you, I'm talking about us, America. Who we fought for. We had no business in that war. Because we strengthened the Jewish Bolshevik communists. If you guys get a chance, excellent documentary that reveals the truth about the Holocaust, the fake Holocaust. Watch Europa: The Last Battle. Watch Europa: The Last Battle. Because notice, the people running the world are the very people you cannot criticize on YouTube or you will be banned. But they're the people of why you have endless wars. They're the people that benefited from World War I. They're the people that benefited from World War II. We didn't. America's been on a downward slide since World War II. There was a brief, about 15-year prosperity after World War II for America. And then boom, went downhill. Because we engaged in massacres for Jewish people when they should have fought their own wars. They're the ones who declared war on Germany. That's fact. Judea declares war on Germany, and they're not even the real Jews. They're the fakes. They're Edomites. So while everybody's fighting over, oh, this person tweeted this, and that's offensive, this person tweeted that, you're missing the big picture. And you will be held accountable if you support the Democrats or Republicans, because you're supporting the military-industrial complex and the endless carpet bombing of innocent women and children in the Middle East. Because you're listening to that gutless pastor in the pulpit telling you to support Israel if you want to be blessed. Yet, ever since we supported Israel in the formation of the modern-day Israel in 1948, our country has plummeted to the depths of degeneracy. So these pastors are lying. You support that nation in the Middle East, you support the great Satan. And this is why this channel is called United We Fall, Divided We Stand, because division is good. Jesus says he came to bring division, even in one household, over his words. And the focus of this video about his words, what did he say about the Jews? He says they're the synagogue of Satan, beware of them. He says they're the children of the devil. And he says, and Paul says they're contrary to all men. And that's just as true today as it was yesterday. So your pastors can take that in their pipe and smoke it, because that is what the Bible says and how to view the great Satan, modern day Israel. Because they are the centerpiece of the New World Order. They are the centerpiece. And that's why you had Christians this past Sunday memorializing the destruction of the Jerusalem temple in AD 70. Because these traitors to Jesus Christ, these pastors, they're memorializing the destruction of the temple because they're crying out for a temple to be rebuilt, to be a house of prayer for all nations. And that's why your presidents like the Bushes and the Obamas and the Clintons and the Trumps sign Noahide laws. You know what the Noahide laws are? There's 7 laws that all mankind are obligated to follow. They come from Judaism, from the Talmud. And they have blasphemy laws. So if you proclaim the sonship and kingship of Jesus Christ, that could be blasphemy. Off with the head. Because they're trying to Judaize the world. They're trying to Judaize the world. So in many people's eyes in America and in the West, the cross of Christ and his offering, his atonement offering for sin, has been replaced with the Holocaust, which means burnt offering. So that if you speak against the Holocaust, that's sin. That is the unforgivable sin. But now you can make fun of Jesus Christ, you can make fun of his death on the cross, deny it, it's okay. But if you deny the Holocaust, you're public enemy number 1. because it's a Jewish subversive tactic to get rid of the cross of Christ and replace it with the Holocaust as being the unforgivable sin to deny. 6 million did not die in the Holocaust because there weren't even 1 million Jews in Germany. There's more like 600,000. And do your research on that with Europa, the last battle. Do your research of why Hitler was expelling the Jews out of there. Because the Jews were doing the same thing yesterday in Germany, the Weimar Republic, as they're doing today. Degenerate, pornographic entertainment. They were promoting, transvestites and sodomites and all that stuff, which includes lesbianism and homosexuality. They brought in a usury system. They bankrupted Germany. And so we have that today. We have a bankrupted system, trillions of dollars in debt, inflation up the yin-yang, degenerate culture, the porn industry brought by Jews, Hollywood funded by Jews, degenerate culture. You have little girls twerking. And if you speak against little girls twerking, oh my God, you're a hateful person. That's how sick this society has gotten. Where little girls are twerking and being cheered on by these degenerate, obese, pink-haired dykes. So now we have a society that upholds the most dysgenic people as virtuous. Transgender. I mean, to me, if you're a man and you think you're a woman and you start doing those surgeries, you're mentally diseased. That's a mental disease. You shouldn't be celebrated. You shouldn't be held up as virtue. Yet, Dwayne Wade's son is celebrated, and when football player Larry Johnson, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs, criticizes him, he gets the hate. It should be the other way around. But see, you've been indoctrinated that hate is bad. See, there's nothing wrong with hatred. It's a natural emotion given by God. But let it be a perfect hatred. Like King David says, I hate them that hate Jehovah God. I hate them with a perfect hatred. I hate every false way. But you've been indoctrinated that being hateful is wrong. No, hate is natural. Hate that which threatens what you love. Someone tries to come and hurt your child, hurt your wife, your family. You're going to say you love them? Come on now. You've been indoctrinated by that limp-wristed, effeminate Christianity. It is natural to hate that which threatens what you love. It's a natural God-given emotion. But they want you to put your barriers down and your boundaries down to tolerate all kinds of stuff. See, a healthy society, the family is the backbone thereof. Man and woman raising children. And not sending your wife to work and having the government, the communist Jewish Bolshevik government, raise your kid, giving them morals. It does not take a village to raise a child. That's bullcrap. That's communist bullshit Marxism. It takes a family to raise a child with their morals. I don't want the village raising my child with their morals. You think I want my neighbor raising my child? Hell no. But that's that Hillary Clinton, Marxist, Karl Marx, communist garbage. And communism is Jewish. So if you're a communist, you support Che Guevara and all that stuff, you have Jewish morals. You're of the synagogue of Satan. Communism doesn't work. That's why those countries end up the way they do. So we have these endless middle wars in the Middle East because people continue to support these Zionist politicians. This is why I'm against the two-party system. I'm against Republican, Democrat. We need to get rid of that. We need to root out that. And there is a day of the rope coming for these politicians. Guaranteed day of the rope coming. Because people are getting fed up. People are starting to realize that just endlessly praying on your knees doesn't work. Prayer's good. I believe in prayer. But I also believe in imprecatory prayers like in the book of Psalms. What is the imprecatory prayers? The imprecatory prayers. Praying for the enemies of Jehovah God to be struck in their cheekbone, to have their teeth broken, for wrath and indignation to be poured upon them. See, Christians need to start imprecatory prayers. And be like King David, have a perfect hatred for those that hate God. Hate every false way with the perfect hatred. And I hate every way that is contrary to the morals of Jehovah God. I hate sodomy. I hate endless wars for God's enemies, the Jews, the synagogue of Satan. I hate the churches that say you have to support Israel. I hate the sodomite LGBTQ movement. I hate it with perfect hatred. I hate the concept of a village raise. It takes a village to raise a child. I hate it with the perfect hatred. I hate communism with the perfect hatred. I hate Antifa with the perfect hatred. Let me tell you something. Our parents, the boomer generation, were the most cucked out, pacifistic, hippie-ish, tolerant, brainwashed generation. Brainwashed through the electric Jew, the TV, the Talmud vision. In my generation, Generation X, we were the most lost generation. Gangs and drugs, and even millennials. They're kind of like whack too, like with a lot of stuff. But this younger generation, the youth that are growing up today, they ain't playing. They know what's up. They ain't buying to all this political correct woke bullshit. They ain't buying into it. So this generation coming up, they're coming up with the righteous anger. Trust me, because they see what we have left them, because we got so hooked on potato chips, beer, sports, degenerate, Hollywood entertainment. And they ain't playing. I have my ear to these groups. Because people realize this country, that there were 2 generations, 3 generations that have let it get to this point. And I'm not waiting for Jesus to come down from the sky. I know he will one day. But I'm gonna do what I can to make this country back to its original roots. No foreign entanglements. That means we don't go fight anybody's war. We get back to Christian roots. Not Jewish Christian, not Judeo-Christianity. There's no such thing as Judeo-Christianity, but Protestant Anabaptist Christian roots. Freedom, gun ownership, not endless streams of immigration, legal immigration, but not illegal immigration. Keeping companies in America, because what you don't realize is when you want illegal immigration, it lowers the wages of the workers all across the country. So you're biting your nose to spite your face because you want to be politically woke correct. And stop supporting these wicked Jews. Stop supporting their agendas. Stop supporting their country. Stop sending your children to die in their godless wars. Let them fight for themselves. Stop supporting churches that tell you to bless Israel. And the root of this is the churches were corrupted with the C.I. Scofield Reference Study Bible and told that Jesus is not yet on the throne of David, that he didn't ascend to the throne of David in heaven at his ascension and didn't start his kingdom from that point forward. That is the root of all this. This is why we are in the shape we're in, because of the denial of Jesus' Davidic kingship and the sure blessings of David given to Jesus at his ascension to rule from New Jerusalem, with the new Israel being the church. And that's another story in itself that I'll do a video on. God bless you guys. May Jehovah be praised and Jesus Christ, our King, our Lord, the only way to the Father.